Four, three, two, one.
Testing 1, 2. Can anybody hear me now?
Yep, I hear you.
All right, good, Dennis. Good. At least you can hear me. Let me go to the chat and see if anybody out there can hear me. All right, we are having some technical difficulties.
Your disclaimer's on. Can't hear your voice. Can only hear Dennis's voice. Anybody else is watching YouTube can hear.
Okay, thank you, Ozzy Sue. Loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know why, but we had some technical difficulties starting up this evening, and I think it has to do with the subject matter, Dennis, because I've had weird stuff happening all day today, and I mean all day. But I'm going to go ahead and read the disclaimer again. Let me go through the disclaimer and go through a few different things before we get started. So I'll give Dennis a chance to get warmed up. Copyright disclaimer. This channel may use some copyrighted materials without specific authorization of the owner, but contends use that falls under the Fair Use Act of 1976. This makes allowances for fair use for the purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, and parody. Okay. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use law. Okay, so that being said, Nighthawk I Strange, this podcast channel, does declare fair use of any and all content, that's any and all content, to be used for the sole purpose of making allowances for criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, research, and general information only per Title 17 USC subsection 107. Okay, let me get that off of there. All right, let me put something a little bit more. Now, I don't know if it's going to be better, but it'll have my mug on it, so it probably won't. Anyways, let's see. Let's take that off of there. Alrighty. All right. See, I hid myself. Okay. All right. Let me go back to the comments real quick. And I already said hello to everybody, but probably everybody didn't hear me. So Chiro Sounds, Midwest, Aussie Sue, Freaky Geeks, Demo Space. Let's see who else we got in the house. We have Ray. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. And Miriam. And I think that's everybody for the time being. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. We are definitely having technical problems tonight. I don't know. Some of this subject matter we're talking about is going to be very, very sensitive. Lionheart Outdoors, good to see you. Good to see you. We have gone over this several different times. I'm going to take this off. Let me see here. Okay. And we have gone over this several different times about the subject matter we're talking about. Okay. We're talking about MK Ultra, and I really don't like discussing this part of it, but ever since I started researching it a little bit, Dennis, it got really weird with the way my phone was acting. It was like my phone had a mind of its own, and it was all the apps were trying to come on at the same time, and the little white window would pop up saying, "Having trouble loading app. What do you want to do? Do you want to wait, or you want to close app?" I had to keep on closing apps, and I mean, it opened up. It went through the entire phone and tried to open up all the apps today while I was sitting
Crazy.
there. I was like, this is just proof. And I wish we could record this stuff to show everybody what exactly we go through every time we try to talk about stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because it's amazing. It's amazing. So
It's really got to the point, William, where I expect it.
yeah.
I really do. I expect it to happen.
Yeah. I'm getting sick of it though. It gets so frustrating right now that because it's happening all the time. We have some time before Carlito comes on, so we'll just go over a few different things. Oh, that's good coffee. Thank God.
Give me let me have an audio check. Am I sounding okay with you? Sound good? I'm not scratchy or anything, am I? All right, good.
Sounds perfectly clear.
All right.
Perfectly
Good,
clear.
Good.
So, yeah, I just wow. I mean, we're talking about MK Ultra tonight. We're talking about the 3-letter word that is part of the government. The starts with a C and ends with an A. You can find it. You can make out the difference.
Wonder who that could be.
So, and their assassination squad. I'll just put it out there. Which is basically like the secret police, basically, if we think about it. That Adolf Hitler had. So, it's amazing how we come out of World War II and so much was adopted that people don't know about to our society today. It's amazing. But doing research and stuff was really, really weird with all the stuff happening.
Well, William, a lot of this stuff. In Russia, they do the same thing. They've got that. I was doing some research on that poison they got. They can put on a doorknob, and all you do is absorb it in the skin of your hand, and it'll kill you. Like in 2 or 3 hours, you're dead.
Yeah, ricin was the one that they were using for the longest time. So, but
they got the ways to do this stuff, definitely. And I sent you the cover for my friend Nick Redfern's book, Close Encounters of the Deadly Kind, where he talks about, now it's just in the UFOlogy field, of the many people that have died under mysterious circumstances. That's part of the business, It definitely, the covert business.
Okay. Is that the picture you're talking about right there?
Well, that's sort of the prototype of the assassin. He's sort of the shadowy guy that stays in the background. You would pass him on the street and really not know him from anybody else. I mean, he wouldn't stand out. Of course, that's the way they work. They work for the company. That there's the shield of the company, and the things that they do for the company are wild, very wild stuff. Nothing short of
Yeah.
murder and disappearances.
Yeah.
So I call it fake suicides. That goes on and on, and really, that's even part of a CIA manual. If you get a hold of the real manual, it talks about that stuff in there. Of course, it doesn't get deep into it because that's the covert part of it. They're not going to come out in the open with it,
Yeah.
definitely, because then they'd have to admit what they were doing, and they're not going to do that. I'm going to tell you something. What an old lawyer told me one time, William, years and years ago. And he told me this, and it makes sense when you think about it. He said, whatever you do, no matter if you're innocent or guilty, never, ever, ever admit to anything. Because once you do, they've got you. That's it.
Yeah.
And I remember in the old days, you remember Mission Impossible, when he would go in there and he'd turn on the tape recorder and he'd say, and if you fail, then we disavow any knowledge of your existence.
Yep.
Remember that? That's the way it goes. I mean, they lock you out. That's the kind of a business you're in when you're in the covert business. It's cutthroat,
Yeah.
and you're expendable. That's it. You're very expendable.
Yeah, people don't understand how the CIA actually can operate. And here is an article from a former CIA chief of disguise that explains about how the human masks would work and stuff that they use that are so lifelike. In fact, some of those masks are being used on people in main government positions that I'm naming no names currently, and it's been seen where the edges of the mask around below the ear and on the neck aren't latex flat enough like skin, and they can see the seam coming down.
Right.
So, there's been several photographs of politicians and stuff that have shown that.
Well, that's like I said not long ago, just with Putin, who supposedly went to the Ukraine, and that was his lookalike. Probably a guy wearing a mask. They've got everything we've got. Okay, so you might well remember that the Chinese do too. They've got everything we've got because they steal everything we've got.
Yeah.
If we come up and we steal stuff they got, it's a back and forth thing. That's what somebody once said, that our government and their governments are sort of like Pepsi Cola and Coca Cola. All right, they have a run on the market, but yet they still cooperate with each other. One week Pepsi will be on sale, and the next week Coke will be on sale. They're never on sale at the same time, if you'll notice. By the way, they've got an agreement. Well, that's the way these governments are. That's the way these governments work. You steal ours, we steal yours.
Yeah, the Chinese motto for their Coca-Cola is the China Coca-Cola. Have a taste and shut up.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
pretty much it. Yeah. Now,
and
I do know that.
China
I do
is
know
one of the.
Yeah,
China,
go ahead.
William, is one of the worst things we face in this world today. Is China? It is our most deadliest foe that we have ever had. And if we don't watch out, they're going to get us with our pants down. That's going to be the end of us. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
that's what they're out for. They're out for the whole ball game.
Judging from the actions of the current administration, I would say that they've already caught us with our pants down. Our pants are down around our ankles, and we're laying on the stage, unconscious. But that being said, though, Dennis, I wanted to bring this article up to you too that I was coming across that really piqued my interest. This guy was tied. He was tied to a tree and ruled a suicide, despite no gun was at the scene. apparently he shot himself in the head with an imaginary gun.
Uh-huh. Well, you do know that with all this 3D printing now, you know, they've got they have disposable weapons of all kinds. They make them.
Oh
They
yeah.
have no serial numbers. They can dispose of them. You can never trace them back. They've got. Believe me, this is an art, William. It's a science. This covert stuff. They've got it down pat. And you know, this has been. It's not just modern times. I mean, this goes back to the founding of this country. This goes back to the Roman era and the Greeks. All of this stuff has been going on all throughout all of our history. They've just gotten better with it, you know, as time has gone on. You know, that's just the way it goes. But
Yeah.
there is nothing. I'll make this statement right now. There is nothing that they will not do, and I believe that without a doubt. There's nothing that they won't do. They'll assassinate presidents. They don't, whatever it is they need to do, they'll do it.
Yep. Yep. Gemmo Space says something very interesting too. And you know, it's like we always said too. That's a very good one there. Total Recall is a good example of typical disguises and stuff that are currently being used, where it's like you said, it's a digital imprint over the face, and the latex max could interlock, you know, so you don't see any seams. But the only place you really see the seams are down from the back of the ear,
the neck,
and down the neck,
the back of the neck,
right?
and a little bit down the neck. Yeah,
Right.
and that
I mean, it's
usually
almost
that's usually covered up by the collar. You know, you know the collar of a shirt or whatever, or
right.
coat. But now the telltale thing is that wrinkle behind the ears there. It's like a wrinkle, like a couple of wrinkles there.
And we always talk about how there's like little leakages of reality information to what's going on around us through the entertainment industry. Okay, whether it's through a song or whether it's through movies or a TV show. There's little leaks, like we have somebody on the inside of the industry that's leaking this stuff through the media, or maybe it's even the government doing it so they don't get flooded with all kinds of, you know, rebellion. Maybe it's a way to keep it under control. But I noticed today, one of the free magazines. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The AARP magazine has an article in it about the 10 most are they real or are they fake type of things. And it talks in there, number 10, the idea of number 10 was a Disney movie that came out about Hawkeye, Hawkeye, I guess the arrow shooting guy, is fighting off an alien race that looks like reptilians. And get this, the reptilians can shapeshift into humans at any time, and you don't know who your enemy is, your real enemy is. Yeah, I mean,
that's the way it goes with the code. That's exactly the way it is in the covert business we're talking about here. You don't know who you can really trust anymore, and you don't know what's real anymore. That's what's going on with this whole world, William. They've got us to the point where we really have to question our own reality, you know, of what's really going on. I mean, we're like, you know, I've said this before. Have you ever walked in a river or a pond, muddy water, and you can't see where you're walking? That's the world today. We can't see where we're walking, you know. We have to be very, very, very careful, you know. And then, you know, that's like a lot. And I'm not going to say this. You remember that story of the Manchurian Candidate?
Yeah.
You know, it's where they actually replaced the president of the United States with a Chinese spy. You remember that? I just wonder if that hadn't really come true. I just wonder if that has not really come true. Look
That's a good
at
thought.
what this present administration is doing. how much money they've taken from the Chinese, just him and his son alone. They just scratched the
Yep.
surface of a lot of this stuff. You know, instead of being caught with our pants down, China has actually bought our pants. Okay, you might as well say they own our pants. Really?
They own our pants. Great. And we better hope we have
Uh,
underwear on. That's for sure. That's all I can say.
uh,
Uh, but yeah, it's
but
getting to the
this
point
is, you
right
know,
now
this is
where,
weird stuff, you know, and they here's what really bugs me, and I'm not trying to get political tonight, but they impeached Trump over a simple phone call. But look, they're
right?
finding all this dirty stuff on this president, and nothing's being done about it. As a matter of fact, now here's the interesting part: the FBI and the CIA are covering up for this guy. Okay, it's just simple, purely simple to see that they are
Yeah.
covering up for this present administration. Definitely.
Well,
And here's another
unfortunately,
thing. Here's another thing. The candidate of the last presidential election fabricated this false story, cost the taxpayers in America millions of dollars. She did it, and yet she's going to get away with it scot free.
yeah, yeah.
Come on, I mean,
I
what we're seeing in the stuff that we're seeing in front of our eyes. 10 years ago, you would have said, "Oh, that's fiction. That's not true. That can't come true." Well, hey, folks, it's real, and it's right in front of our eyes right now.
yeah,
It's mind blowing.
yeah, yeah. I'm starting to get that tingly feeling because a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people, Dennis, don't really understand how this works. Okay, um, a lot of our research that we do, we have to do at certain times of the day, um, due to um, the quality of being surveyed while we're trying to find out information to report upon. And news reporting is a big part of it. So we have to look at it as a kind of a secretive operation, where you have to find the information out without being found out yourself that you're looking for it.
Exactly.
You have to be very,
Exactly.
you have to be very, very covert about it. And
Mm-hmm.
with our backgrounds, we have that ability. But even then, it's really, really dangerous because the powers in control currently can basically, I mean, like I said earlier, like they took over my phone. And as I was trying to research something earlier today before coming on, the phone started opening up all the apps at the same time. These windows would pop up. Do you want to wait for
Uh-huh.
the app, or do you want to, close the app? All the time it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, all these windows were popping up, and I couldn't close them fast enough. And I never did. I
But
never was able to get the information I was looking for. So
uh-huh. Well, you know what happened on my last show, Demonology Today, last week? My audio went south so bad nobody could even understand me hardly. It was so bad, and I have not yet found out exactly what was wrong with that and what happened.
hmm.
I know it's really strange. I don't know.
All right. Well, I don't know. I don't see any reason for
But
them
you know
these
what?
devices. I
You
don't see
know
any
what,
reason for
William?
the devices to work off of something like
When you
that and go
talk about
wrong.
the covert, when you talk about the covert stuff, you got to go back to the Kennedy assassination and all that stuff. Look at the strange implications of that, with Oswald being in Russia and the CIA being involved in a lot of that stuff. Uh, you know, you got a lot of smoke. You've got that smoking gun somewhere. They just haven't found the gun yet. They've seen the smoke. You know what I'm saying? But I think a lot of that was covered up through the years, and that's many, many years ago now. But still, that kind of shows you exactly what kind of operators you're dealing with, you know?
Yeah. Falafel Bays is I think is very, very correct in his statement down below, because your fight has not been with flesh and blood, but with principalities and the rulers and the
Exactly.
powers of the dark. Yeah, I
That
firmly believe that too.
that tells the whole story right there, and I've said that many, many times. This all goes back to that darkness that's at the background of all of this. The
Yeah,
shadows, and I'm not talking about just a shadow government. There's a shadow behind that.
yeah,
This is very dark, deep, and evil stuff here. You know, we're talking about people's lives. We're talking about families and mothers and fathers being taken out by these people as if they were nothing that more than crumbled up piece of paper to throw in the trash. I mean, this is how they view human life, you know? You're getting very, very dark and downright dastardly evil when you get into this kind of stuff. And these people are in bed with these forces of darkness, these spiritual wickedness in high places. Did you hear that statement? In high places. That's what we're
yeah.
dealing with here. Uh-huh.
Well, let me ask you this then, Dennis. We talked a few nights ago about the Black Knight satellite.
Uh-huh.
What if that was part of just a surveillance system of us, um, by the principalities of darkness that are trying to govern us and keep us under control?
Wouldn't surprise me a bit, really. To tell you the truth, William, this stuff is ancient technology. We gotta look at something, okay? When we think about the demonic and things like that, we think in terms of medieval times or biblical times. But see, those people were living in a different time and they could not describe things like we can. We see things from a different perspective. These things may have a technology behind them. We don't know. Well, there may be some type of angelic technology going on here, you know? We really
Right.
don't know. But I have made this statement before, and it's what I say in my book, The Road Unseen. This world has already been invaded by aliens, okay? I
Yeah.
mean, I got to make that statement very clear. This world's already been invaded. We have been invaded. They have taken over this world. They have established a beachhead here, whatever name you want to give them. Greys, reptilians, and I think that's their true form is reptilian, by the way, because that's what
Yeah.
they're corrupted into now. They're no longer angels of light. They're no longer the morning stars, as the Bible calls them. They're now corrupted, evil things, reptilian, snake-looking things. Okay, they're not.
Yeah.
They're no longer good and beautiful things. But that is what has invaded and taken over this world. If people would realize what has happened, this is the greatest conspiracy theory of all time. But it's not a theory. Okay, it's fact. You can go back through history and see it time after time after time. Like you just said earlier, if you do the research, it's very obvious to you. Once you do the research, you got to get deep into it though. But once you
Right.
do, you'll see what we're talking about here.
Exactly. Especially when they've got all kinds of different stuff going on, when it comes to their covert operations, because not only is and I'm going to pop up a couple things here. Not only is there a shadow government, that is in control, which are branches of the CFR and the CIA, MSM, and the NSA, are basically a part of the shadow government. Yeah, the Congressional Finance Committee is heavily
Uh-huh.
involved because they got to cover the financial tracks and transactions of these covert agencies. Okay, and I mean, I've found a lot of different information on it, how they do it and who's doing it, all the way down the line. International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the intelligence agencies, um,
Uh-huh.
foreign lobbyists, Wall Street offshore accounts, you name it, all kinds of different stuff. Stuff that
And
they would
too,
be
William,
stuff that
too,
we would be in, yeah, stuff, Dennis, that
you've
we would
got
be in
the.
trouble with and thrown in prison over if we did it. Now, why are
Oh
they not
yeah.
being held accountable? So
Well, see, they know they can get away with it, William. But look at the corporations that are behind a lot of this stuff too. They're in bed with these things too. That was what Eisenhower warned us about, the industrial military complex. And the corporations. Look at Target selling satanic stuff to children. Look at look at all this other stuff that's happening. They're coming out in the open now. They're not trying to hide it anymore. They're coming out in the open. You know why? Because they know they can get away with it.
right,
Nobody's gonna
right,
stop them.
yeah, true.
Nobody's
Hey
gonna
guys,
stop them.
How we doing, Carlito?
doing good, brother. Doing good. Sorry, I'm a little late, man. I had to take care of some business, money wise.
Oh,
I'm here though.
that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
man.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just heard what Dennis was saying about the Target. Yeah, man. That's crazy. That's first time ever. A lot of people said that they're no longer gonna shop at Target because they have what is it, Barbies or dolls that are the gender thing where they got they can choose
Yeah.
to be whatever they. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, holy crap, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, we were just getting off of the topic that you didn't want to discuss. That's why we discussed it first.
Okay. Cool, cool. That's good.
Yes,
That's good.
everybody. Yes, somebody in the group was afraid of the repercussions of it. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard, Carlito. While I was researching it, um, I had a lot of different things going wrong. A lot of really weird technical problems. Even tonight, getting on, had all kinds of technical problems. Like
Really?
they were trying to stop me from even coming on. I didn't
Oh,
actually get on to be able to work my equipment until 2 minutes to 10 o'clock tonight.
wow.
Yeah, that's how long it took me to figure out what was going on.
You
Um,
know, you know what, man? I've been noticing that, like on my laptop and my phone, both of them, like they've been kind of like slow uploading and downloading and going from one app to another. Kind of what is that called when they kind of jerk a little bit and they pause and get stuck on one image and then they go to the next, but it kind of takes a while. I don't know what
oh,
that is,
oh,
man, but I've heard other people as well, been having the same problem.
yeah, yeah. This was really weird though. I mean, it was like the electronic equipment had a mind of its own, literally.
Wow.
So, but yeah, it was definitely not good.
Hmm.
Um, if that would happen, I don't recommend we continue talking about it. Um,
Right.
now I wanted to get here. Hold on one second. I wanted to get on. I got on here and go over a couple different things and bring up MK Ultra. Now, Dennis, MK
Yeah.
Ultra is a well-documented experiment that the CIA aimed in secrecy to study the manipulation of the mind through various interrogations and torture methods. Okay.
Uh-huh.
The CIA claimed to halt experiments in 1971, but some claim that the experiments are still going on to this day. And I, for one, will second that notion that they're still going on today. And I will tell you why I think that. Okay. Because of this article here, one of them that was found, that was released in the 2014, as a matter of fact. I think this article was released. And if they stopped it back then, in 1972, why would it say brain synchronization and manifestation? It's the same thing, just different terminology.
Well, torture involves a lot of pain, the old types of torture, like the old Chinese water torture and all these other things. They have turned the corner from that because pain can be resisted to a certain extent, They've turned the corner to that into psychological torture. And that has to do exactly with the brain, the human brain, the way it's put together and all that stuff. And like I've told you before, they have these new microwave stuff now. They can actually listen to this, okay? And they know about these things. They can actually hit you supposedly with these microwaves and change the chemical balance in your brain. Now think about that just a minute.
Yeah.
In other words, they can completely manipulate your brain, and if you change the chemical balance of your brain, they could put you into such a deep depression that you would do what? Commit suicide.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. That they say that there's almost an over epidemic wise of people with multiple personality disorders, schizophrenia, all kinds of different psychological diagnosis. And I knew a guy one time that kept on saying, I hear, there's voices in my head that are telling me to do this, this, and this.
Well, there is evidence. There is evidence out there. There's evidence out there that they have actually experimented on servicemen with this stuff.
Right. Well, this was a military person that I'm talking about. And he told me that the voices are telling him to go to certain stores or certain banks and rob these banks at gunpoint. And then when he gets done, just throw the evidence away and go ahead and kill himself.
And if you could do that, if you could do that to somebody, you would have the perfect agent, would you not?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I don't know, Carlito, what do you think?
Well, man, with all this MK Ultra going on, I do believe it's real, especially in the in the Hollywood and these artists, so-called singers or whatever. I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure you have, and maybe everybody in the chat as well, that a lot of these actors and a lot of these singers, they've been caught on camera while doing interviews where they're talking about whatever they're talking about, and then they just get stuck, and then like for a brief second, and then kind of look crazy, with their eyes all, wide open, and they're just kind of like dumbified for a second, like they don't know what to say, like they're stuck, and that's not going with the context of the interview, because obviously they were into the whatever they were talking about the interview, and they just stop and look kind of like surprised or I don't know, something. And I think that's the moment when they're telling them, hey, stop what you're talking about, don't go any further, change the subject, do this, do that, whatever, make a funny joke, whatever, to get off topic of what they're talking about. And then they snap back in, they snap back into it, and then they just change the subject of whatever they were talking about. They no longer go back to what they were talking about, but they just change to a new subject, and then they just laugh it off like nothing happened. And and there's been many videos of interviews of people and artists doing that. The biggest one was this what's that chick's name from New York? She's Cardi B. That was the biggest one. and you can even see because she's got like a little small crew behind her, like 2 guys and 2 girls that were with her, kind of like entourage or I don't know, maybe followers or whatever, or close friends that hang out with her during her events or whatever. And you can see Cardi B, you can see the interviewer right next to her, and you can see these people behind them. Well, when Cardi B stops and just stays frozen, and the other lady keeps going, and she's just like looking around like she's not hearing anything what the interviewer is telling her. The people in the back right away, they all turn sideways like, oh my God, she's doing that, whatever that is again, and they just kind of look down all at the same time, simultaneously. So what does that tell you? That tells you that this happens quite often. It's not a one-time event. It happens quite often, and they know about it. They just rather not look at the camera and just act like nothing happened, right? And that's just one example. There's just many other artists, even actors, that do this. And that's where I think that MK Ultra, gets in there. Or I don't know how they do it because we don't have an explanation for it. But they're mind controlling, basically. You know what I mean? And I think that they all do it. Beyonce, she's another one.
Yeah. Not to interrupt you, Carlito, but Gene Hudson brings up a good point here too. I think the school shootings are rigged by outside forces. There was a couple cases of school shootings where the shooters, when they survived, said that they heard voices in their head to do it.
Yes. Many. Now that you're talking about that, many serial killers and mass shooters, they say that they hear voices in their head telling them to do that. Now I don't know how that happens. I don't know who gets in their head, but I've heard that many times.
Yeah, like being under robotic control.
Yeah,
it's almost like they're turning humans into drones. One-way drones. Suicide missions.
Right. Right, and that tags along with the other subject that we're going to talk about, or I don't know if you guys talked about it yet already or not, but the cloning. That's another thing. The cloning. They clone artists. There's many artists that have said to been cloned. One of them that I've really noticed is Dave Chappelle, because I've watched him for years and years and years, and I know exactly what he is. I know his punchlines. I know his way of doing comedy. And now ever since he came back from Africa, when he took a long vacation away from everything, because the thing is, when he was so successful when he was doing his shows, Dave Chappelle show 2, so they offered him a 3rd one, but they said, okay, well, now that you're so famous and talented and so well liked, now we're going to tell you how to run your show. And that's what he said. No, I'm sorry, you can offer me all the money in the world, because I think he turned down a $20 million or $25 million deal or something like that, and he didn't want it because they wanted to control him. Basically, they wanted to tell him what to say, what not to say, how to run his show. So he said no.
That comes down to the whole thing too about the African American men in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry per se, whether they're comedians or actors or whatever.
Right.
Right. Having to wear dresses.
Yeah, that's another one.
When they're told to wear dresses.
Yep.
During a performance.
Yep. And almost every big star has done that. Yep.
So Will Smith has done it.
Will Smith.
Yeah.
That little shorty dude. What's his name? He's a real good comedian. Damn, I can't remember his name.
Don't forget about Tyler Perry's done it too.
Yeah. And there's a lot of them that expose them for that. Like Cat Williams. He's one of them. He exposes them. I don't know if you've seen it, like on YouTube or TikToks, where little shorts where he exposes them that they wear, dresses, and he's like, no, I'm not down with that. So I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want to get super big like they are, and have to wear a dress. No, that's not me. You know what I mean? So he exposes them. Yeah.
Now that's borderline controlling, like the Illuminati. Connected in this part of the industry. So that's a whole nother subject there, brother. And one subject that we will cover eventually. Trust me. All right.
exactly.
I mean, Dennis, what do you think about it? I mean, Dennis, you've been you've seen it. I
Well,
mean, I know you have.
I'm sitting here listening, and it just occurs to me that these covert guys doing all this stuff. This is the glue that kind of holds their power together. You know, this is how they retain their power over us to a certain extent, and that's why the covert actions of these people are so very important to them. It's the underbelly of life that you don't never really talk about. You don't really think about spies and all that much, about these secret agents or whatever name you want to give them. These operatives, as they are really basically called, operatives. But they are what's holding this whole ball game together for them. That's how very important they are and how they manipulate everything. To me, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and Falafel Bay, he says it very, very well right here. I'm not going to read it out loud, but I'm sure you all can read that. And one of the things that really ticks me off is the fact what's going on with the Hollywood and the pedophilia type of connection to it with children.
Yeah. Hey, William, have you heard of the panda eyes? Have you ever heard of that? Panda eyes? It's a thing with the artists. No? Okay. Well, I'll send you some videos later on. It's a thing in the artist industry that, and this gets really, really deep. It gets really, really ugly. It's not necessarily only kids. They have too, but it's a lot of times adults. Adults. When they they decide to become super famous and all that. Besides that, wearing the dresses like you mentioned earlier, they get physically assaulted by the elite, and I'm talking about gang banging kind of deal. And the eyes, Antonio Brown. I don't know if you know this guy. He's a whistleblower. He used to work with the Nickelodeon and all that, Disney Channel, all that. He used to be a young actor. I remember seeing him in a couple of those old shows. Can't remember which ones exactly right now, but like Raven, I think was one of them. I don't know if you remember that. So Raven or whatever. Okay, with that little kid that was in there, a little black kid. He's exposing a lot of that, man. A lot of the Hollywood crazy stuff and pedophilia and pedophiles. Naming names, all kinds of stuff. I hope they don't, just make him disappear. But Antonio Brown, look into it, guys, if you get a chance. And he explains the panda eyes, and basically it's having two black eyes, both of them black eyes, and it's supposedly what he says is that they physically assault a person until their eyes turn black. I mean, well, like black eyes, right? Like if they've been beaten, kind of. That's what it is. But they obviously they get the word RAPE. They get that, and that's part of their contract. They have to do that if they want to keep the fame and the money and the luxury that they have. They have to do that, and that's why they come out, doing the. Sometimes you see them with like black eyes. These artists and actors and whatever have you. And another thing too is that they have signs for that. That's why you see Beyonce and what's her guy's name? I can't remember. Jay-Z. They come out doing those signs like the 3/6s, like a OK upside down OK or whatever sign. And that's the 3/6 because they tell them to do that. They have to do that to keep their their way of living, the high costly way of living, all the money that they got from whoever controls everything. And
here's another perspective on this. Carlito, is that if you're privy to the secrets, okay, and you know a lot of the secrets, you know a lot of what's going on, and you realize one thing: you know too much, and they can take you out anytime they want. So you'd be very careful what you say and do. You know what I'm saying? That's the
Yeah.
intimidation that these people live under to a certain
Yeah.
extent, you know?
Yeah, and some artists do the OK sign with their eye in the middle. They put their hand up to their eye, like that. And some do both hands. Lady Gaga's one of them. She comes out doing both hands above her eyes. With the 3 6s and all that. I mean, so that's all intertwined with their satanic or sadistic uh, ways of doing things. If you guys get a
But
chance, check it
a
out.
lot of this stuff, and I've said it before about Hollywood. A
Yeah.
lot of these are writers, okay? These are the
Mhm.
writers, the guys that write the movies is what I'm talking about. The writers are the glue that holds Hollywood together, by the way. Right now they're on strike, And so there's a lot of stuff like that going on. But here's what I want to say about the writers. You got to remember one thing. The best writer has to have his research. You've got to do your research, okay? And I
Mhm.
think these guys go deep into that research. They find out a lot of this stuff. They've got connections that you and I don't have, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the elite. Yeah. You want to be rich and famous? I'll make you rich and famous, but you got to do all these things, and a lot of them are sacrificing a loved one. So that's why like Tyrese, when he was crying, he wasn't crying over his baby mama or her taking her kid like he said. He was crying because he had to give up one of his loved ones to these people. That's what the crying was about with Tyrese. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Well, I mean, you're talking Carlito. You're talking kind of like the old signing your name in blood with
Yeah.
the contract for Satan.
Right. Yep. You're basically signing over your soul to them, and in full control, whatever they want to do with you, while being rich
Yeah,
and famous.
Yeah, that's what. Oh man, I can't remember his name. Oh wow, his name escapes me. But I did a big basically like a podcast documentary on him last year, where he was exposing some very, very famous people in Hollywood for doing a lot of stuff that they shouldn't be doing, that they would be in prison for the rest of their lives for doing.
Right.
If it was a normal person like you or I,
Right.
you know. So I can't remember his name for the life of me though right now.
Have you guys ever heard about the pedophile ring that Corey Haim and Corey Feldman were part of when they were young actors? And Corey Feldman actually came out and said it many, many years after Corey Haim died. I think Corey Haim died back in the early 2000s or something like that. He was so bad in his head that he went into drugs and kind of just lost it and then eventually died, right? But Corey Feldman, he came out and said, yeah, there was a sex ring, a child sex ring in Hollywood back then when we were part of the big screen, and he doesn't want to name any names. He knows better because they will off him or whatever. But he said that they did sexually abuse him and Corey Haim. They said that it was on set in the little RV trailers that they have on set. Like they would like take turns and stuff like that. It's crazy, man. But I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it. But yeah, he came out talking about that. It's really sad because they were kids, man, and they just wanted to be famous and be well known, and that's the price they had to pay. Yeah, Corey Feldman, Stewart, and Corey Haim, both of them, they were both sexually assaulted multiple times by directors, friends of directors, stuff like that. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
They also have
Isaac
somebody they agreed to be injected with a tracking device. They also have pills that you can take, whether they can slip them in on you or whether you take them voluntarily. It turns your whole body into an antenna. So, you know,
Who is that, Willie?
therefore they would have a connection with you no matter where you went.
Yeah.
That's Isaac
That's some
Cappy.
wild stuff.
Isaac what?
Isaac Cappy.
Oh.
Yeah, he was he was in Hollywood as an actor. He was, just building his prestige, and he kept on telling people, how he was hearing voices in his head to jump off of overpasses and stuff into traffic, and
Wow.
he all because he was exposing some of the big names in Hollywood,
Yeah.
about the pedophilia ring and about the satanic cults and stuff like that are going on.
Right.
And he basically was shoved off of an overpass, with up to 9 people around him, that didn't stop him, that didn't interfere at all. They claimed the guy took his own life by jumping off the overpass. Okay, but he didn't. Because if you saw somebody trying to jump off an overpass that was 2 feet in front of you, wouldn't you try to grab them by their shirt or something to stop them from jumping?
Of course.
But that's what happened with this guy. So, and it turns out that a very, very famous actor is linked to his death.
Well, it just strikes me as how very, very convenient these things are. It's not a coincidence. It's just convenience for them. There's been many, many cases of supposed suicide that you were very obviously murder. Like I told you about that guy that supposedly hung himself out the window of a hospital room, and he supposedly tied some sheets together, and they tied it to a register in there, and he hung himself from that, and they measured it, and they said there was no way possible he could have done that.
Right. Now,
he could have hung himself like that.
Here's the thing, too. Here's the kicker, guys. Okay, and Carlito, I want to make sure you hear this. The actor that was supposed to be involved with, conspiring to killing this guy, this Isaac Cappy, was at one point in time in his career wearing a dress as an actor in a TV comedy show. Okay. And he starred in a movie called The Road to Perdition.
Okay.
So, interesting.
Yeah. Again, you have the signature with the devil type of a thing going on. You have the dress going on. You have all this stuff going on that, kind of coincides with everything else that we're talking about. So.
Yeah, well, I think nowadays, with all the new technology and all the new platforms, and the easiness of having a phone on your hand, and like TikTok, right? Like, a lot of girls are pretty, and they think that they could just become famous because they're pretty or have a nice body, and they have thousands of followers. So they basically they think that they can turn themselves into an artist or a singer or an actor or a comedian, whatever. They call themselves influencers, but I don't know what they're influencing other than their good looks, and that's not really influencing. That's just people giving people candy, eye candy. That's it. You're not going to get anything else out of it, just eye candy. That's it. But they think somehow that they're becoming famous, and they're becoming very popular, and that they're going to have a shot at singing, and they're going to have a shot at acting or whatever. Like those crazy girls, Wovicki, and that other crazy chick. I can't remember her name right now. The one that says "Catch Me Outside" or whatever. The "Catch Me Outside" chick. I think that's what they call her. But they actually, in their minds, they think they're actually famous now, and they're not. They have nothing to bring to the table. They don't sing. They don't act. They don't nothing. They're just their rants on videos and people liking the stupid things that they say or whatever, right? But anyway, change the subject to people. We're going back to the subject of TikTok. A lot of people, and I think the leads and whatever system that bring in the artists and actors and whatever to go into what their satanic rituals and offer them, say, hey, do you want to be become rich and famous? And these kids now are so gullible to just say, yeah, I'll do whatever you want. Where do I sign in blood? You know what I mean? Like, they're quick to do that. Where back in the old days, they really thought hard about doing that because they knew what was part of that system. But now it's just so easy, and they just take kids real easy and turn them into whatever. You seen we were talking about this the other day, William, about the young rapper kids, portraying demonic things on stage, like that one kid. What's that kid's name? That's not too long ago. He did a concert, and there was like a devil face behind him and a open mouth and all this other stuff. And some people got killed in that. Travis Scott. Some people got killed in that concert. They were trying to tell him to stop the concert because there was people getting squished and killed and trampled over. And he didn't stop the concert. He just kept going. He didn't really care. He was there just worried about his money. But he's one of the big guys that put satanic things in his concert setup. They say they saw something walk above the concert setup, like it was some kind of demon or something walking up on top of that thing where he was doing the concert. Another thing, them wearing that we talked about this too, William, the Balenciaga, or however you want to call that brand of clothes, Balenciaga. Well, that's satanic because the four first words is BALE, and that's another word for Satan. And they try to just kind of throw it in there where people wouldn't notice, and people that really know about this type of things automatically or not automatically, but see that. Yeah, symbolism. Yeah, Balenciaga. That's Bale. That's the devil. Yeah.
Yep. Symbolism has a lot to do with
devil worshiping. Yeah. And I think the people that make them famous. Yes, the people that make them famous tell them, hey, you're gonna show this. You're gonna promote this. You know what I mean? This Satanism. To the young kids, and that's why they do that. So that all is part of the MK Ultra. I think it's all has to do with the demonic mind control. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Lord, for clearing that up. It's Cappy, not Gabby. Yeah, it's Isaac Cappy. I mean, if anybody did any research on the subject, look it up. Cappy. I did in fact, the documentary that I did on it and the podcast that I did on it basically was the reason we got booted off the first time of the social media. So I'm not gonna say the name of the podcast, but that's just one reason that they censor it. No matter how big of a podcast you have, they don't want anybody talking about it. Anybody.
Right. And too, William, like Jane or John or I don't know how to say that name. John Hudson. He said
Gene.
He or she. I'm sorry. Yeah, Gene. Said 99% of the new singers can't sing. They use the equipment to change their voices. Yeah, which is called I can't remember right now. It's auto-tune. Changes their voices to make it sound better because they can't sing worth a damn. and it's all a part of the we'll make you rich and famous as long as you do this for us. You know what I mean? Because you're a big influencer on the kids today. Basically, that's what it is. And
Yeah.
we talked about this, William. Good music is gone,
Yeah.
brother. They don't make good music like they used to back in the day.
What do you think? Yeah. Yeah. Now they're starting to mess with your audio now, Carlito. You know that?
No, no, I can't hear anything I'm saying. So yeah, I guess you can hear it.
Yeah. They're starting to make your audio cut out on you like halfway through your discussion. So
Oh wow. Okay, I guess they're trying to stop me from telling the truth, speaking the truth.
yeah. Dennis, what do you think about symbolisms? I know you've seen a lot of symbolisms.
Well, I sit here listening to you. You know, you talk about the satanic and demonic stuff. That's their power base. Okay, that's what they're plugged into. Okay, and if you threaten that, then you're gonna have some consequences to it. And this power base that we're talking about here, that these guys that all this is plugged into, is very powerful, and it goes throughout every aspect of government and corporations and all this other stuff. You're kind of poking the dragon, you know, and when you poke the dragon, you got to expect you're gonna get something back. And that's what their power base is. That's what this whole thing is about. That's the power base that you're dealing with here. And you got to understand it's very powerful. It pulls the strings in this world. And if you know too much about it, if you're in on their secret and you're deep into their stuff, you know too much about it, then you're really walking on some very unstable ground. You'd have to be very, very careful where you put your feet and things that you say and things that you do, because they would take you out very quickly if you threaten that power base.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
true. Uh, Throttling bandwidth. Sorry, guys, I'm reading the comments. Um,
Yeah, I'm reading some of them too.
yeah, Falafel Bake says something about throttling the bandwidth. Um, I'm trying to read this one here. There we go. Hollywood is demon possessed. They say the reptilian is living under LA. I think that's why I call it the city of angels, city of fallen angels. Yeah, I agree 150% with that, Brooke. Definitely. The whole reptilian connection can be attributed to um, the demons too. Dennis and I have talked about this several times. How if you describe a demon to somebody, you're describing a reptilian. You really are. And
Yeah.
where are the reptilians? The first race or lost city of the reptilian race was said to be under the city of Los Angeles, the city of angels, of fallen angels.
Right.
So,
That's supposed to be
which
one of the hell
could
mouths.
be
That's supposed to be
classified.
situated. One of the hell mouths is supposed to be situated around Los Angeles. There's certain supposedly entrances to hell all over the world in different areas, and wherever you have these entrances, you have a concentration of evil around it. Bad things
Mhm.
happening. Look how bad Los Angeles and San Francisco and places have gotten just in the last few years. It's almost like a disease, like a cancer that's spreading on the world itself.
Yeah,
It is downright demonically infective. You got to put it that way.
yeah, yeah, and the fact too that there's so many people that are seeing these things nowadays too that they describe as demons.
Mm-hmm.
And they're seeing them everywhere. I mean, in broad
Mm-hmm.
daylight.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, the demonic doesn't care. They thrive off of your fear, whether it's day or night out. It doesn't matter to them. They're going to come at you
Mm-hmm.
24/7, and if you're not prepared for it
Yeah.
and you're not ready for it, then God help you.
Well, a very famous preacher once said, that the power of the devil is that no one will believe in him. But as his power has now increased, he doesn't care. He wants you to believe in him. He wants you. He's coming out in the open now more than ever before
Right.
because the time is right. It's right for that now. It's not like it was
Right.
once upon a time. It's a different thing. It's a different world we're looking at now.
Now, let me ask you both this, and you can both take your time answering this too. I've done some research on the whole. We know that I'm up all the time doing research, but here lately I've done a lot of research on the demonic activity levels picking up, the paranormal activity level picking up, and the correlation between the both. And one of the connections I found was a passage out of the Bible. Dennis, I'm sure you probably are aware of the passage where the devil tries to basically offer Jesus, the keys to the kingdom, and Jesus not only called the devil the prince of the kingdom and the caretaker of the kingdom, but he called him the God of the kingdom. Okay. And the kingdom that he was offering Jesus was earth. Okay.
Kingdom of the world. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, that's why they say when you pray, you need to pray the Our Father who art in heaven prayer, because you're not praying to a God of this world. You're praying to the God of heaven above that created this
Right.
world
Exactly.
and other thousands upon thousands of worlds we don't even know about.
Exactly. And
So
it's very important. It's very important that you know what you're and who you're dealing with. Like I told you before, and I've mentioned this, and I'll let Carlito get in on this in a minute. But let me say this, and when I talked about the God game thing, okay, the demons, the demonic forces in this world, they are playing that God game. They want to be the gods of this world. All of them, not just Satan. But all of these demons want to be gods. That's what they are. They want that. They want to be worshipped. They want to be that way. They're very egotistical maniacs. Okay, that's all they care about is their egos,
but
and
here's
that's
here's
what
the
it's all
thing.
about.
Yeah, here's my point on the whole bringing this up. The whole how Jesus said that's Lucifer, was the God of this world, of this kingdom.
Uh-huh.
You look at our money. Look at how our money and how we have so many things to say in God we trust. It doesn't say in our heavenly Father, host to host, we trust. It says in God we trust. Who's the
What
God?
God?
Who's the God of
What
this
God?
kingdom? Who's the God
Yeah.
of this kingdom, Dennis?
Right.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what I say. You better know who you're dealing with, who you're
Yeah,
talking about here.
exactly.
Definitely. And that's why Jesus
Exactly.
rebuked Satan and said, what have I to do with you? He's got nothing to do with the world. You remember he told Pontius Pilate, if my kingdom was this world, my followers would fight for me.
Yeah.
But my kingdom is not of this world. So you're looking at two different kingdoms here, okay? You're looking at two different
Yeah.
worlds.
Yeah. So, my whole point of this, Carlito, I'll let you answer this, is that makes the connection to the dark demonic forces actually being in control by having that in God we trust on our money, because it went from the gold standard, okay, which we all know that the gold was special to God, the creator, because he had the Ark of the Covenant covered in gold. he had everything that he basically did or represented in the gold tone back in the days before Jesus. And, his son, God's son, was sacrificed for silver, 30 pieces of silver. And there's some stipulation in that whole process too, that maybe he wasn't sacrificed for the silver. Maybe Judas was offered as a scapegoat, and Jesus went to him ahead of time and told him, "Listen, I need you to do this for our Father, for me and for our Father." So maybe Judas was innocent, on being a traitor to Jesus. But that's a whole nother subject matter. But the whole connection thing to the demonic and to Lucifer being the ultimate God in control of this world that we live in, and I'm saying in God we trust, and not being gold standard anymore, makes you wonder, who does our government trust?
Who's in charge of the government, right?
Who does our government trust? If they say in God we trust, who's our government trust, Carlito? Satan?
Yeah, I would say Satan. I would say anything that has to do with money and power is related to Satan and their God. Their God, the people in power, the governors of the world, the elites, the owners. Their God is Satan. It's not the same as our God. Right. So you're right. What they say on the money, they print on the money. In God we trust. We don't know what God they're talking about. So yeah.
Exactly. Now, since we talked about my subject and Dennis's subject already, let's bring up your subject that you wanted to discuss. Why don't you lead into that?
Sure, no problem. My subject I want to discuss is clones. The cloning going around in the world, and it's been going on since, man, I'm gonna say maybe more than 100 years now. There's been many speculations of people being cloned. Very important people, artists, actors, to name a few, to mention a few. They're even talking about Joe Biden being cloned now. And they show the different videos and pictures of him before and after, and the before one where he had the earlobe like in a little circle going down, kind of like how we have a little lobe hanging, and then now he has it straight, no lobe, just goes straight from the side of his ear into his neck. And they even circle that, they show that like it's not the same person anymore. So what happened to the original one, I don't know. Like I mentioned earlier, Dave Chappelle, there's been many that people are saying that they've been cloned.
Well, let me ask you this, Carlito. Let me ask you this when it comes to the whole cloning thing, because I've heard so many different things. How do we know it's not just like me and Dennis discussed in the first part of the podcast tonight, where it's just the CIA doing disguises? Because they've got very, very convincing disguise work that they're doing. They've hired the best Hollywood makeup artists in the industry to do disguises for the CIA. So how do we know that they're not doing this and putting something like a look-alike in Biden's place and going from there with the disguise?
Yeah, well, they actually they do that too. They do that. Get somebody that looks kind of like a doppelganger. Somebody that looks exactly like you, right? But it's not you. I mean, it's not the same person. It's two different people. You can tell by little things. Who's one of those guys that they have like a double for him to use on interviews and whatever
Hitler.
it is. Hitler, yeah. Well, but no, I'm talking about like the newer guys. You know what I mean? I think Tom Cruise is one of them. He's actually got
Yeah, Tom Cruise is. Um,
Will Smith.
and so
Will
well,
Smith
yeah, Will
has a
Smith.
clone,
Yeah.
or various clones. They say that he's got various clones that they use. So you know, but there's quite a few that have
Now,
hmm replacements, like you said,
now,
just lookalikes.
where would you where yeah where would I mean, to me, a cloning type of a thing is literally something almost like out of like the an alien movie where they're
Right,
cloning
right.
humanity. We're not basically talking that. We're talking just like lookalikes, basically, that are makeup on it, on to make them look like the actual person.
Right,
Or
which I
are you talking are you talking physically cloning, like in a tank of bat of
yeah,
and brought
yeah.
up
There's
from an embryo?
yeah, I do. There is such a thing as actually cloning. Like I said, Will Smith supposedly has like 4 or 5 clones that look exactly like him. So that means that they brought it out of his DNA, and made it possible,
Right.
right?
Well,
Well,
you got to remember, Carlita, that a clone is basically an extension of you. That
hmm
is you. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
It is part of you. It's your
right.
clone, and they
hmm
would have to have some way to program it with your thoughts. I mean,
Yes,
with your personality and everything.
yes,
Pull it
exactly.
off. You know.
And another thing that I've researched on clones is that when they clone someone, which is like an actor, president, whatever, somebody very important and very influential, they clone them because they're getting to the point that they don't want to. They don't. The actor or whoever doesn't want to. How do you say? Abide by what the upper want to have them do. They no longer wanted to abide that. They kind of just want to just just get off the grid and leave me alone kind of thing, like Dave Chappelle did, right? And
Here's a
how does it how did it turn a whole 360 on Dave Chappelle's personality when he came back? So he left because what they were doing, harassing him, telling him how to do. And after 2-3 years, he came back a totally different person, right? But he looked just the same as the old Dave Chappelle. But if you notice, he acts different now. So that's why I think it's a clone. Yes, they got all his DNA features and everything to look like him. Yeah, but he's got a whole different personality now than what he used to have. That's why I say I honestly think that he was cloned.
what if Carlito? What if your clone decided he wanted to become you permanently?
That could happen too. That could happen too. Yeah, and
Yeah.
basically you're screwed, right? But yeah, I think this one, the new clone, is they got everything they wanted from Dave Chappelle except the things that he didn't want to do for them, which the new one now does out of nowhere, right? And they expect us to believe that. I don't believe that. I don't buy that. I think it's a clone, completely different, and a lot of people see that too. And Dave Chappelle, I read that she herself said that's not my brother. They cloned him. That's not my brother. So the original Dave Chappelle might have even been offed, and they brought the new Dave Chappelle in, the clone one, and replaced the old Chappelle with him. Because
So
even his
let me
sister
ask you.
claims
Let me
that's not
ask.
him.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Carlito. When
hmm
we see videos of newscasters and famous people on TV basically shutting down and not moving or continually laughing out loud, um, which you see quite a bit happening. That kind of correlates with the whole clone type of a thing going on, wouldn't you say? Like it's almost like an over stimulation of the clone senses and it shuts down.
Yeah, I mean,
Have you seen those videos?
which ones did you mention?
The ones about the newscasters that completely freeze up and don't move and talk, and
Yeah.
some of them
Like a
some of them
glitch.
ramble
Like a
Like
glitch,
a
kind of. Yeah, like a
it's like
malfunction.
a glitch in their programming. A
Yeah,
glitch.
yeah, like a malfunction. Yeah, those could be drone. I mean, not drones. Those could be clones that they were reprogrammed, and they have those type of issues where they just get stuck, and they like news reports, like you said, and they don't they it's like malfunction, for a couple seconds until I guess they re-hardwire the signal, whatever, and fix it back up. But yeah, those are clones, and including some of those are reptilians also. So they've been replaced. Real people have been replaced with clones and reptilians.
How do we
And
know
now
you're not a clone?
I know, right? I don't even know if I'm not a clone, so I wouldn't know how to. I wouldn't know how to answer
Here's
that.
one question. Here's one question, though, when it comes to clones. Do they have a soul? That's one big
Right.
question. Do they have a soul?
Right,
Sure,
right.
Sure, that probably they do, because they're probably sharing the same soul as the one of the ultimate host.
Sort of
Probably
like
like
an
a twin.
like an
Like a
amoeba
twin?
divides up. And
Yeah. Well, that's how twins work. I don't know if you guys know that they both feel the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Twins work like that.
Well,
Like,
it'd
it's
be
kind of like
very
they're
much
sharing the
like,
same soul. Mm-hmm.
Very much like identical twins.
Yeah,
You know,
identical twins. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And who was it? I think it was Lori asked me to ask you, William, to show the clip that she sent you on Messenger. It relates to this.
Yeah,
If you could show that clip.
I tried loading that already. It wouldn't load.
Oh,
So
man.
I don't know if it's a different format or not, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, they
I
got.
don't know. Maybe
I'm pretty
you could
sure
send
you.
it to you.
I'm pretty sure you've seen this also, and I think I sent you a couple videos about that, William, where they're showing that who is this guy? Biden. He's got a mask on now, and he fixes it from the back and the neck. You can see all the, how he's fixing his mask and all that. You seen that, right?
Yep, yeah, I saw that. Yep, that's
So
why I asked that question in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be a clone. It could
What
be
about
somebody else with the
what
mask
about
on.
what Gene says? What
What's
about what
that?
Gene says here, Carlito? What if they are not clones? What if they are replaced with AI?
Yeah, well, that's a whole different rabbit hole right there, man. But that is possible as well. That is possible with the AI. Like he mentioned, Elon Musk being one of them. Yeah, I can agree to that because he acts really
Like
weird.
I said before, if you had your own clone and you could download your complete being into this clone, you would be immortal. You would live forever.
Yeah, because you would just repeat it, and live forever. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But yeah, going back to what she said. Yeah, what was that? Hold on. Dang it, I lost it. That was a comment that I wanted to bring up. Anyway, Rosie said, wouldn't that be a doppelganger? Well, yeah, a doppelganger's a person that looks almost exactly like you, but not quite. And, as far as replacements for, artists, actors, and all that, yeah, there's quite a few actors that have doppelgangers or, lookalikes that come out in their name, like for interviews, pictures, and stuff like that. Yeah, I've seen that. Go on.
Well, usually doppelgangers are described as sort of having the dark side of you, your personality. When they're seen by people and all that, there's like, there's you, but it's sort of the darker part of you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe I'm a doppelganger of another Carlito somewhere. Oh, man. But yeah, where did William go?
Oh, I'm still here.
Twin brother, and I I feel my twin and he feels me. Yeah, see, that's what we were talking about. William said, Gene said, I am a twin, have a twin brother, and I feel my twin and he feels me. See, that's what I was saying. It's kind of like they share the same kind of like the same soul, I think, because where like if you think about it, an embryo was gonna come out to be one person, and then somewhere down the line split and turn into two. Then what is that? And they're born at the same time. What does that tell you? You know what I mean? It's like they're part of each other. You know what I mean? And that's where that saying comes in, that they feel each other, because they can be hundreds and thousands of miles away, separate, and they can feel what the other one's feeling. I've heard of that. A lot. But yeah, the AI, yeah, that's totally possible. Like I said, Elon Musk, he could be one of them. He could be the very first one AI that is among us. Yeah, I really do think, because that guy's not that guy's not
AI. Have you seen his mom?
His who?
His mother.
His
He's
mother.
not AI.
No, I haven't seen him.
AI.
Right, but where does he get all this information that he gets and vision to? You know what I mean?
I think he's a reincarnated Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, that's the closest thing I can relate to that. That's why I beat you to it.
Yeah,
I really do.
You mentioned.
I believe he is.
You mentioned.
Yeah.
You mentioned AI. I was going to tell you about something that actually happened the other day, concerning AI. They had a drone, and it had a mission to take out a certain area. Now, all this, of course, is simulated. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
But this drone, had AI in it. It was AI controlled drone, and it was supposed to take out a target. And when he got close to the target, the operator stopped it. Said, "Okay, that's good. Don't take out the target. Cancel." And the drone and the AI didn't like it, because he wouldn't get any points for taking his target out. So he turned and took out the operator.
Yeah.
So he could get more points. It actually got rid of his operator because he was keeping it from its objective.
Have you guys noticed? I've watched so many videos on Elon Musk, and I think he's really smart. He's not a genius, bro. I'm not gonna say he's 150 IQ genius. No, he's somewhere in the 120s, close to 130s. But he's got so many ideas, bro. Just like Tesla, you know what I mean? Where is he getting all these ideas like Tesla to make these cars and make these spaceships? Because he made them. NASA didn't make them for him. Yeah, but what kind of imagination?
Yeah, he's got a hell of an imagination. He talked. Yeah, his father, his father.
That's what I'm saying.
A pilot, and so he made he actually influenced a great deal in Elon's life. So
right,
as far as space travel goes.
Right. And if you notice the way he talks, William and Dennis, he talks like that guy from The Fly. I can't remember his name, but where he came out on Independence Day, you guys remember that? He was like this genius or whatever. What's that guy's name, man? I know you guys know his name.
Oh, wow.
The tall guy, the one from The Fly, the main character from The Fly.
Yeah, he was also in the first Jurassic Park movie.
There you go. Yeah,
and the second one.
Yeah. He was kind of like a jerk.
Oh my god.
What's his name? I can't
remember. I can't remember his name either.
Okay, Jeff Goldblum. There you go, Jeff Goldblum. Rosie said it. Yeah.
Thank you, Rosie.
Well, you see the way he talks, right? The way he talks in Independence Day, because he's supposedly so smart or whatever, and he talks like this, and he kind of stops halfway, and then he changes subject to something else, and like really smart, right? And that's the way, if you notice, it's funny to me because that's the way Elon Musk talks. If you ever hear him in an interview, you can see the way he kind of fluctuates his tone, and he kind of stops himself halfway, and then he changes to something else, and then He reminds me of that guy from that movie. You know the way. Well, actually, that's the way I think. That's the way Jeff Goldblum speaks as it is. Because I remember he used to speak the same way in The Fly, the movie The Fly. You know, he's like this and that, and we're gonna do this and that. We're gonna, and the way he speaks, that's the way Elon Musk speaks too. I don't know if it's a thing,
Well,
or I
you
don't know
know,
if that's
but the difference between Elon Musk and a lot of other very famous
kind of
inventors
offish.
and
Yeah,
explorers um, is the fact that he wants the permission of the people before he wants their blessing before he actually tries to do anything um, technically wise. I see the comment here about Elon wants us all chipped. That's not exactly true, Ozzy Sue. He clearly states that he wants to help out with chipping for neurology disorders. And trust me, I've checked into this. I know about it. Um, it's more of a neurological disorder, like a brain mass or something where your nervous system, your central nervous system, is not functioning properly. Um, like with me, sometimes my whole left side of my body will shut down. Um, I won't have any movement in my leg or my arm on my left side. I won't be able to talk um, because it stops my ability to speak. And yes, everybody, I do have a brain mass on my brain stem. So that being said, I know
Well,
where Elon's
when
coming
it
at
comes
from
to
this angle here. So
Elon Musk, when you think about Elon Musk, he's a brilliant genius. Okay, but you got to remember something about geniuses, like Albert Einstein and some of the other ones. They think on a different level than we do. Anyway, okay, they're so far above what we're thinking about, but they tend to lose their empathy with other humans that way. You know what I'm saying? They tend to overlook that empathetic part that makes you feel like you're part of the human race, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And you got
exactly.
to remember that. You got to remember that when you deal with geniuses.
Yeah,
They
and,
don't
and,
think like
and
we do.
Elon looks like just exactly what you're saying. That's what Elon Musk looks like. Like he doesn't care about humanity. He doesn't relate to anybody in a human level. It's just his ideas and where it's gonna get him and where it's gonna get humanity or whatever. But I think actually he's more of a threat because he's so highly influential and has the money to do anything he wants that maybe it might just lead us down the wrong path. If we all listen to him and go with what he says.
I
It's very
respectfully
And
dangerous.
disagree.
Very
here's
dangerous.
another thought. You're talking about geniuses and all that. You got to remember this about the very rich too. Okay, the very rich do not think like we do. They don't live like we do. They have a different perspective than what we do. They
Yes,
don't think
absolutely.
like we do. They
You
don't
know,
they don't
Yes,
operate
you
like we
guys,
do. And
yes.
you guys got to remember, you're talking about a young man that, well, I call him a young man, that slept on the floor of his factory every night so he could work 16 hours a day to try and make his
uh
first battery operated vehicle. Um, and he's done that time and time again. When he went belly up and started the company again to manufacture vehicles the second time, he was sleeping in the factory for I think they said up to the first year before he got his own like little apartment. And then he didn't even sleep at the apartment. He slept on the floor under his desk. So, I
uh
mean, you got to give the man credit, where credit's due. He knows he may be a billionaire and one of the world's most richest individuals, but he knows the kind of hard work and the kind of determination it takes to make a success. okay, of
That's
yourself.
what part of success is. That determination. That
Yeah, well, Hitler was the
that
same way,
willingness
William. Look what he turned out to be.
to toe them. Yeah,
Hitler.
Who was
yeah.
the same way?
Hitler.
Yeah. Um, and who was it recently? Who was it recently that came out with saying Hitler was and the Nazis weren't that bad of an idea? It was somebody very famous that we all know. Um, you know, to make the comparison between Hitler and Elon Musk is kind of how do I want to say, their upbringings were different. Um,
Well, they did share one thing. They do share one thing in common. Hitler and Elon Musk. Okay. And that's that determination you mentioned about earlier, that hands-on. That's what
Exactly.
cost Hitler the war. Hitler, he lost the war because he was not a general, but he had hands on everything. And if he'd have turned his generals loose and let them do what they wanted to do, he would have won that war. But he didn't.
did
But
he
now
lose the
Elon
war?
Musk is different. Elon Musk keeps his hand on the tiller of his ship, and he does it the right way because he's he's a union.
Did Hitler lose the war? I don't think Hitler lost the war. I think the war was a back room deal, an agreement to where
I think it was a stalemate.
we let
It was
part of his
it was
Nazi party go to the Antarctic and continue their work down there where they won't be bothered, and we let Hitler retire in Argentina and in the national
and
park
if
here
you
in the Americas.
Yeah, he wasn't
and
defeated. He
if you
wasn't defeated
wanna if
like
you wanna
Saddam Hussein or anything. But
you want some interest if you want to do some interesting research Operation High Jump.
yep. Yeah, Hitler wasn't defeated like
I agree.
Saddam Hussein or anything, but he was stopped basically. He stopped. He said, "Okay, no more war. All right, I give up." Right, but that give up, you don't know what happened behind closed doors on what they, like you said, some back room agreement. Hey, stop the shit you're doing. Say that you gave up. You raised your little white flag, and we're gonna give you access to do this, this, and this, right? And the Antarctic was one of them. Antarctic Operation High Jump, Antarctic Treaty, the bringing his what was it, William, Warner von Braun, bringing his Nazi guys, head guys to
Operation
NASA.
Paperclip.
There you go, paperclip. So Werner von Braun came from from Hitler's Nazi to NASA, to United States NASA, and helped them, with all their, back engineering for UFOs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So he gave him that, and then like you said, he retired somewhere in Argentina. He was never killed. Yeah, absolutely. But there was something to that, and there was an agreement made, like you said.
Yeah. No, I guarantee there was an agreement made. My father was in General Patton's 4th Armored Division, and when they went through Germany, right after the first atomic bomb was dropped, my father and about 100 other infantrymen and General Patton's group, his elite group of the 4th Armored Division, were there in Germany, and they were the ones that removed all the above top secret stuff that they found in a warehouse, a bunker warehouse that Hitler had. That was all of his research and stuff, technology research and all that. And our country sold out, and the war alliance sold out, the Allies sold out to Germany for basically their technology and their research, their connections to the alien race.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
why That's
That was
why it
part
happened.
of Operation Paperclip as well.
Yeah,
That was part
Operation
of Operation
Paperclip. Yeah,
Paperclip.
and I retract my phrase, but I said Operation High Jump. That's actually Admiral Byrd. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Operation Paperclip was the one that had to do with Hitler. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. So, but yeah, I mean, and that's where the whole clone technology came from too, by the way, was
Yep.
through Hitler.
Uh-huh.
So, there you go. You got it. You got it right there.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't realize, um, and I'm going to make this statement. Man, I'm hearing all kinds of noises behind me. I'm going to make this statement to everybody out there that's listening, and everybody that watches this back later, that history is not what you are told. Okay. History is not what you are told. I'll repeat it 3 times. History is not what you are told. Okay. You got to understand something. The forces that control us have sought to control us for thousands of years. Okay. Certain families that are in charge and in control are the ones that are doing this. Okay. And you got the Rockefellers, you've got the God, Rockefeller,
Rothschilds. Got the
Rothschild. Yeah, that's the one I was
Rothschilds.
thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rothschilds. Do you know the Rothschilds bloodline goes all the way back to Samaria? Okay, to the Sumerian tablets. That's how far back their bloodline goes. Okay, the Rothschilds control the World Bank. The Rothschilds are the ones that said, you know what? We own all this oil and stuff, and the Rockefellers too, and we're going to make pharmaceutical prescription medication for people and say that it cures this, and this, or treats this, and this, and it won't. Okay. But yet you as a pharmaceutical company is going to go along with it because we're not going to lose billions of dollars every year because of it. Okay.
And the
They
largest
influence
and among the largest corporations in the world are pharmaceutical corporations.
exactly. So if you want to know who's controlling us and who's enslaving us, because we are slaves, there is nobody, and I'll say this till I am dead. Okay. I'll say it on my deathbed. Okay. There is nobody born today that is born free. Nobody.
No, we all are born into slavery and we die in slavery. That's the way
Yep.
they got us. That's the way they want us. And here's another thing that they do, and I wrote about this. I put it on my Facebook thing today. The very elite, the very rich elite, they've run this show from day one, okay, and they're still running it. They're the ones that pull the strings. They're the ones that cause these things to happen in the world. They're the ones that back up all this stuff, and they're in bed with the demonic. Okay, that's what it comes down to because that's their power base. You got to remember what I said earlier about that power base that they plugged into. But the very elite want to divide us and conquer us. That's the way they operate, and they do that by making us victims and by making us turn against each other. That's why they racially divide us and they classify us in different
Yes,
ways.
that's how they
So
control
they
us.
can do this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
they control us
yeah.
by falsely created division.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to further emphasize the whole pharmaceutical thing. Okay. Because trust me, I know with all the medication I've been on and been treated with, everything from radiation to chemotherapy to pills to morphine for the pain to 3,600 milligrams a day in gabapentin for pain, and neuropathy. I mean, it's like God gave us everything. He even told us in the Bible, He gave us everything we needed to heal
It's
ourselves,
already here.
to take
It's
care of
already
our own
here.
illnesses. And it even
Hmm.
in the Bible, it even states in the Bible, physician, heal thyself. Okay. That is your
Hmm.
first clue when the statement physician, heal thyself is made in the Bible. That's your first clue not to trust medicine. Okay. That God gave us everything we need. And I do not endorse this. Okay. I do not endorse doing what I say. Okay. Because I'm not a doctor. Okay. I play one on TV, but I'm not a doctor. But no, anyways, the the actual basis of it is to wean us off of the herbal remedies, the natural remedies that God made for us here in his world that he created for us. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes, God gave the devil dominion over this world, okay? But he didn't give the devil dominion over mankind, not to be able to have the ability to stay healthy and to heal themselves.
Yes,
But here's another
absolutely.
thing, William. Here's another thing we got to look at, okay? You're talking about money, okay? That's what it's all coming down to: riches, power, money. That's what it's all about. And that's what all this medicine and everything, and all these physicians and hospitals and all this, they operate off of money. You know, I worked at a hospital for 30 years. And when I first went to work, the first thing they told me, this is a business, just like any other business. It's just like a production line. Or you make tires or whatever you do. This is just a business like any other business. It just happens to be a healthcare business. That's how they make their money. They make their money. They're not going to cure you when they make much more money by treating you. That's just the way that goes.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Rosie. Yeah.
And that's why they say money is the root of all
Thank you,
evil,
Rosie.
because the richest people in the world are evil. That's where the saying comes from. Money is the
Okay.
root of all evil.
Okay. Okay, now let's take that back. Let's take that back, Carlito. Let's take that back. Money is the root of all evil. What does it say on our money?
The
In
love
What does
of
it
God we
say on
money
our
is
trust.
the root of all evil.
In God we trust.
In God we trust.
But what God, right? Now, if you think
What
about it,
God?
we're going back to Elon
What God?
Musk. If you think about it, the
I'm gonna
richer
tell
and
you,
more
their
powerful
God.
you get, the
Listen,
richer and more
their
powerful you
God.
get, you become evil. Okay,
Their God is the
you
almighty dollar
desensitize.
bill.
Yeah, you're desensitized from all human reactions and emotions. Okay, when you're super rich, super powerful, that goes out the window. It's just what you want to do, what you can do, what you're allowed to do, and what they stop you from doing. That's it. That's the rest of your life, basically. And that's what the Rothschilds are doing, and basically that's what Elon Musk is doing too.
Yep, I agree. I agree, guys. I agree. Well, I'm blown away. I mean, the everybody in the chat, you're awesome with some of the information you're putting out there.
Yeah, they're following along really, really good, man. All of them.
Their God is money, the almighty dollar bill. That's who their God is.
Yeah,
That's who they,
that's true.
exactly who it is.
That is true.
Juliana's hit it right on the head here. Greed, ego, all of it. It's all
Exactly.
about it, and it's the ones that are in charge, the families that I believe. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I believe the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and all that have the reptilian bloodline. I really do.
And and
I think.
look at what the Bible says about the Antichrist, William. What the Bible says about him. What is his power? He holds the purse strings of the world.
Yep. And that's the Rothschilds and Rockefellers.
Yep,
R&R.
exactly.
R&R.
Uh,
And it's not going to be an R&R with them, trust me.
well, we're at the 2-hour mark already.
Yeah. I just noticed that. I might want to call it a night because I got some stuff coming up medically that I've got to do before I do anything else. But you know, we could go on and on. We could talk all night long about this, and the conversation
Yeah.
would still
Well,
revert back to the demonic.
why don't we
or the
make
evil.
why don't we make a part 2 out of this real soon?
Yeah, that's true. That is true, William.
Yeah.
We can continue on this topic.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good to me. So everybody, stay in for tune in for part 2. Next Friday, though. Next Friday is going to be a great Into the Red Rabbit Hole podcast, conspiracy theories. We are going to talk AI, and we are going to have none other than us three. Let's see, who would it be? It would be Larry, Curly, and Mo. Or no, would it be?
I'm Mo. I'm Mo. Okay, I'll cut my hair.
Right.
I'm Mo.
So that would make me Curly. Okay.
No, you're Mo. You're Mo. I'm Curly. And Dennis could be Larry. I'll be Curly.
That's okay. Larry, Larry always just girls. Okay, there you go.
Hey, yeah, you're right there. You're right. I remember that. He always did too, didn't he? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we're going to be talking AI, and we're going to have a very, very special guest. I'm going to let you all know about him when I make the commercial for it. Hopefully I'll have it out tomorrow, and we'll let you know. His first name starts with an M.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but anyways, it's going to be a really, really good show next Friday. So tune in for that. Tune in tomorrow morning too, for 10 a.m. For the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show.
You know who I would love to get over here, William? If man, I want to try my best to reach out to him and see if maybe he'd like to come on with us, just through a computer, not in person, of course. But Eddie Bravo, man.
Oh yeah.
I would love for him to come on here, bro, with us. I would love for him. He's a super conspiracy theories hothead, man. That he knows about all the stuff we talk about, bro. He's covered it all.
We pretty much connected the dots to where a lot of this is coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we followed the money, we followed the trail patterns, and what came to the vision.
Yeah.
That we're coming from. Not the.
I would really love to get Joe Rogan, but nah, he's too big.
Not the
yeah.
Not the heavenly host, the heavenly Father, the heavenly host.
Right.
Not the creator of everything, but the one God that's given the ruling of this world. So, and His dominion. So,
right.
But yeah, I mean, we can definitely carry this on for probably 2 more episodes. To tell you the truth. So,
oh yeah.
I mean, there's so many avenues we can go down, guys. It really is.
Oh man.
So, but anyways, I want to say good night to everybody. And thank you all for being here. And we'll see you in the morning at 10 a.m.
Chat was great tonight, by the way.
Yeah, chat was
Yes.
awesome. Everybody in the chat was awesome. Jean, Ozzy,
Yeah.
Sue, Juliana, Rosie. Rosie, you were on it tonight.
Yeah.
Rosie was my backup. So
Yeah, man.
yep.
Rosie went hard tonight.
Stuart, thank you for being here, brother. Joey
Yeah, man.
Z.
Chiro's
Yeah,
always good to see Chiro here, man.
Midwest.
Overbuilt Automotive.
Yeah, everybody, thank you for being here. We appreciate you all very much. And we will see you all in the morning at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
right here.
Oh, don't forget to mention the conspiracy goddesses, Lori Barnes and Ozzy Sue. They are great, man.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true. Overbuilt, yeah. Yep, thank Falafel Bay. I can't forget you, man. That was incredible what you put out there. So,
yeah, thank you.
Everybody, you all been
JMO
awesome.
Space.
We've all
Thank
been
you all.
awesome. So,
Tracy, there's Tracy.
Yeah.
Mrs. Nighthawk, aka Mrs. Nighthawk, Tracy.
AKA the boss.
AKA the boss. Boss lady. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, everybody in chat, we love you very much, and we'll see you all in the
Lori.
morning, okay?
Yeah, see you guys next week, man. All right, bro. Good night.
Take care.